R. Venkataraman, Managing Director and co-promoter at IIFL Group, who joins in to talk about the conference as well as lots more. And let's begin by talking about what exactly, the expectation is in terms of what you're hoping to hear from the conference, Venkat, because we have seen a year that has been filled with nothing but volatility. Going into, this year, we're only 2 months down, and we've seen that the selling pressure has been fairly acute. So, the theme is elections, economy and earnings. Talk about what exactly you want to hear.
Thank you very much. And the mood in the conference, especially from the foreign investors side, is that all of them are, to use a word, they are cautiously optimistic. And as you rightly pointed out, we have seen a huge bout of volatility, say from October onwards. And if you look at the market, we seem to have a very polarized market. The Nifty is just about maybe, as you said, hovering around the 10,700 mark. But the small cap and mid cap indices have been very badly hit. And I think they are down significantly. If I recollect, they are down some almost 40–50%. And so most people are thinking, because last year when we had the conference, all of them were thinking that valuations are a bit steep and earnings growth is not coming, or earnings growth is not reflecting. And now most people are thinking maybe there is value, but in spite of the steep correction happening in the broader market, they're all, I think, waiting on the sidelines. And I think, as you rightly pointed out, now we are entering into election seasons. I think general elections will happen in the month of May. So people are waiting and watching and trying to take a calculated bet on which way the economy will move. Yesterday, one of the speakers in our conference, they very nicely put about India, and that is that even the coalition governments seem to do better than majority governments. So, and whichever party is there in power, India somehow manages to grow or chug along. So the theme is that maybe elections don't matter so much, and broadly speaking, the Indian economy will continue to do well.
In that light, Venkat, what is the pulse of the market right now? Are investors just sitting on the sidelines, waiting for some clarity at least? What's going to transpire, whether or not it's going to be a Mahagathbandhan or what have you in the elections? Or are they already beginning to deploy money on dips?
I think the broad sense we got is that people are reworking their numbers, and they are optimistic, and they are seeing that value is beginning to emerge in the broad market. And as I said, there's a pocket of stocks which are holding the Nifty up, and those are, I would say, valued high richly, and the rest of the market is in as if there is no tomorrow. So people have started doing the math. And the more interesting thing is that I think people, although people are still confused about the outcome of the elections, but the general consensus is that the elections might have impact the market for a quarter or so. But broadly speaking, I think the results of the elections will be digested quite fast. And as of now, I think all the pollsters or the cephalogists and the political experts are of the opinion that at this point in time, although it is too early to call elections in India and everything changes dramatically overnight, as of now it looks as if the NDA will come back with a lesser number of seats. But it's too early to predict the elections. And frankly speaking, I think the seasoned investors who have been investing in India for, say, more than 10–15 years, they are interested in elections, they are interested in the outcome of the elections, but I think that will not swing the needle in a big way. The key, I would say that the key discussions people are having, or key themes, if I can use a word, is that what will happen to interest rates in the country? What will the RBI governor had given a 25 basis point cut? So are we seeing the end of the rate hike cycle? Will we see a moderation going ahead on the interest rates? And those, I think, are the broad will demand come back. Those are the bigger issues people are grappling with. Although elections, I'm sure, make much more noise because we are just maybe 3 months into the national elections.
So what is the chatter then, Venkat, when it comes to the macro situation? Because clearly both the interim budget as well as the last policy earlier this month seem to be clearly focused on not just inflation control, because inflation already seems to be very much under control, but more about infusing and instilling growth. And that's what we saw in the interim budget as well, with the kind of SOPs that were handed out for just about everyone. Do you really believe that we are going to see the interest rate trajectory easing further from here? Because if I look at the last few data points, both the CPI as well as the IIP seem to be indicating that perhaps the need of the hour is that we are going to see the RBI cut more by way of rates.
I agree with you on your observation. If you look at all the data points which are coming out, especially on the inflation front, I think even the projected numbers, we are quite comfortable on the inflation front. In fact, we are below the lower band of the inflation estimates. And in the latest, the MPC also, I think they advised on instead of I would say instead of an inflation hawk, if I can say, they have become a inflation dove, to use a bad word, but that's about it. So people are now no longer getting concerned about inflation. So our opinion is that given the way inflation is, given the way inflation is trending, also in all probability we'll have a rate cut going ahead. So at least in the next the remainder of the calendar year of 2019, I think we should see another 25 basis points or maybe 50 basis point cut in the rate.
Okay, Venkat, where is it that you're finding value then in a market such as this? You spoke about it being a very polarized trend, how there is likely to be acute volatility in light of the elections. So where can a long-term wealth creator look to deploy money?
See, actually, the entire strategy for the rest of the year is clearly bifurcated into two periods. So in the period, the feedback we are getting, the chatter we are hearing on the sidelines of the conference, the period from now to the election, people are very, I would say they are taking a defensive position, because most of them are going after the usual favorites, which is like FMCG, IT and pharma. But on the longer term, if you take maybe a 12 to 18 year view, a 12 to 18 month view, then people are looking very carefully all the corporate banks, because there's a feeling that this we are seeing the improvement in the NPA cycle, and there will be recoveries, and also credit growth is coming back to the economy. And I think the other sector which people are looking at is the entire pack to do with industrial, which is cement and construction. Because although I think the cement price is not going anywhere, we are seeing some kind of I would say this entire sector is facing a headwind. But if you project, because the entire private sector Capex is expected to pick up, so the Capex cycle, cement, those are the things people are looking at a 12 to 18 month framework.
All right. What's the sense that you're getting when it comes to the capital goods sector? Do you believe that with, some sort of impetus from the government in terms of policy action, and that really translating into things on ground improving, that this is a space to watch out for in terms of orders really picking up and execution gathering pace?
The sense we are getting is that on this entire Capex sector, I think that sector has not gone anywhere for the last so many years, primarily on the back of the entire story about the slowdown in the economy and the private sector Capex not picking up. Last 2-3 years, whatever we have seen the government sector spending. So, and recently all indicators are pointing out that slowly and steadily, as capacity utilization across the economy picks up, then there will be some amount of interest in spending and building up capacities. But having said that, I think we will get a clear view on what is happening on the Capex front as well as the pickup in the capital goods sector once the elections are over. So my guess is that although as I earlier said, I'm contradicting myself that the elections will be a one-quarter phenomena, but still I think the companies are just waiting and watching and before actually pressing the pressing the trigger.
Okay. Venkat, so tell us, what are the day two highlights like? Who are the big speakers at the conference today?
We have a large number of interesting speakers. I think today we have people talking about use of AI, artificial intelligence, and how the entire data analytics and all will impact the world of trading as well as decision making. So that is one session which I think all people are very eagerly waiting to watch, how decision making, trading, everything is getting impacted by big data and artificial intelligence.
Okay. Okay, Venkat. Have a good day too at the conference and we'll chat again soon. Good speaking with you.
Thank you so much for your good wishes and thank you so much.